Let's just jump right into this explainer. I want you to picture a scenario for a second. What actually happens if the Strait of Hormuz, literally one of the most critical maritime choke points on the entire planet, just closes tomorrow? I know it sounds like the plot of some intense geopolitical thriller, but looking at the latest data today, it's actually a very real security scenario. Governments and energy markets are actively modeling this out right now. So we're going to break down the immediate domino effect that a closure like that would trigger. We'll trace it all the way from the oil wells of the Middle East straight down to your own wallet. Now, it's a massive question, right? And to really grasp the gravity of it, we have to look at the map. The Strait of Hormuz is this incredibly narrow sliver of water sitting right between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. A staggering amount of the world's oil supply gets squeezed through this tiny bottleneck every single day. So if that waterway gets blocked, the fallout is definitely not just a local problem. It immediately erupts into a global crisis. We're talking direct, undeniable consequences for supply chains over in Europe, fuel costs right here in the US, and manufacturing output in major nations like China, India, and Pakistan. Using the latest data from the Council on Foreign Relations, the EIA, and the World Bank, we can map out exactly how shifting alliances around this one vital choke point basically dictate the health of the entire global economy. Which brings us to Section 1, the geopolitical epicenter. We're zeroing in on the Middle East. Okay, notice the really stark contrast here between diplomacy on one hand and cold, hard security on the other. On the left side, the Council on Foreign Relations is analyzing these recent diplomatic pushes, specifically the headlines around a new Iran deal championed by the Trump administration. Analysts are pointing out that an agreement like this conceptually reopens the strait by dialing down the tension. But look over on the right. At the exact same time, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the EIA, is explicitly warning us about the realities on the ground. They're citing Hormuz closure and related production outages as massive drivers of uncertainty. It's this classic push and pull, you know? Diplomats are working the phones, trying to keep the oil flowing, while market forecasters are sounding the alarm that the floor under all this is incredibly fragile. Let's trace the timeline of these rapid developments, because it shows just how fast the landscape is shifting. Back on May 1st, 2026, we saw this massive structural shift when the UAE officially exited OPEC+. Then, fast forward just a few weeks to mid-June, and boom, the headlines are completely dominated by the geopolitical maneuvering around Trump's Iran deal. By June 18th, the Council on Foreign Relations is reporting on the diplomatic opening of the strait. But literally the very next day, on the 19th, analysts are already assessing the broader, long-term costs of the administration's Iran war posture. So this timeline proves that diplomatic and military posturing around this single waterway is moving at breakneck speed.
All right, moving on to Section 2, shifts in oil production, focusing on the global oil supply chain.
Backing up just slightly to April 28, 2026, the United Arab Emirates announced a truly major decision. They were leaving OPEC, effective May 1st. Now, remember, OPEC was formed way back in 1960. The whole point was to coordinate and unify petroleum policies among its members. It's the organization best known for having the power to influence global crude oil prices by controlling the supply. So the UAE deciding to just walk away? That is a monumental shift in the traditional alliances that have governed Middle Eastern oil for decades. And with the UAE out, you can really see here how OPEC's overall share of global crude oil production and its spare capacity visibly shrinks. The UAE is now operating totally as an independent producer, and what this fragmentation means is that if a crisis does hit, like, say, a sudden closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the historical mechanisms we always relied on to coordinate a global response and stabilize prices, they're just weaker than they used to be. The chessboard has fundamentally changed. So, what's the realistic assessment of all this? Well, the EIA's short-term energy outlook lays it out pretty clearly. The main drivers they're watching are continued Middle East disruptions and that very real potential of a Hormuz closure. But there is a fascinating counterweight happening here. Normally, the mere fear of a blocked strait would send oil prices straight to the moon, right? But the EIA notes that a projected drop in global oil demand is actually limiting those severe price spikes. Basically, the global economy is slowing down, so we need slightly less oil. And that's putting a temporary lid on the explosive inflation we would normally expect from these military tensions. But honestly, relying on that is risky. It's a very, very delicate balancing act. Let's pivot to Section 3, wasted energy potential. These are the inefficiencies hiding in plain sight. $54 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. Because while the whole world is stressing over diplomatic deals and the threat of closed shipping lanes, we are quite literally burning money into the atmosphere.
According to the World Bank's Global Gas Flaring Tracker, global gas flaring surged in 2025. And this wasn't a one-off. This marks the third consecutive year that flaring has gone up. Instead of actually capturing this natural gas and using it to, power homes or industries, it's just burned off at the extraction site as a waste byproduct. We are talking about $54 billion worth of gas entirely wasted in a single year.
The World Bank states it perfectly right here. They call it gas, quote, that could create jobs and strengthen energy security for millions. Think about the context we just laid out. We've got massive anxiety over whether the Strait of Hormuz is going to stay open to supply the world's energy needs. Yet at the exact same time, poor resource management is squandering an alternative energy source that could act as a much-needed buffer. Capturing this gas would strengthen global energy security precisely when choke points like Hormuz are at their most unstable.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, Section 4, the global economic spillover. This right here is where those distant geopolitical events connect directly to your wallet. The World Bank's Global Economic Prospects Report explicitly links the conflict in the Middle East and the resulting energy supply chain disruptions to the sharp energy price increases and broad economic slowdown. When the threat of a Hormuz closure looms, shipping insurance skyrockets, energy markets completely panic, and that inflation trickles down to literally everything, from the cost of your groceries to the price of a plane ticket.
So the crucial takeaway here is this bottom line figure, 2.5%. Because of all these compounding pressures, the geopolitical risks, the shifting oil alliances, the energy inflation we just talked about, the World Bank projects that global growth will slow down to just 2.5% in 2026. And look, that's not just some abstract macroeconomic number. A slowed growth rate of 2.5% means fewer jobs being created, much tighter national budgets, and a noticeably higher cost of living for everyday people all around the world. And this table really brings the entire domino effect together beautifully. Geopolitical tensions risk closing Hormuz, which spikes energy prices, dragging global growth down to that 2.5%. Meanwhile, shifting alliances, like the UAE exiting OPEC+, create supply chain uncertainty, which stifles job creation. And underneath all of it, inefficient resource management leaves us with reduced energy security, making us even more vulnerable to the next big shock. It is just one completely interconnected loop. Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ponder. With our energy markets reacting to every single diplomatic maneuver, shifting alliance, and military headline around the Strait of Hormuz, is this sluggish 2.5% economic growth just the new normal? Or if that vital waterway actually does close tomorrow, is this just the calm before a much, much larger economic storm? It's an incredibly fragile system, and understanding these connected pieces is really the only way to see what's coming next. Thank you so much